morning, everyone, and welcome to Zuera. We're at Zuera, Spain, about 20 minutes drive north of Zaragoza in the province of Aragon in the north of Spain. It's round 2 of the CIK FIA European Championship for Class KF and KF Junior. And here in Spain, well, as you can see from the pictures on screen, the flags are waving quite breezily. It's fairly breezy here, but it's a very warm morning, 22 degrees Celsius and very sunny, blue sky. Not the most picturesque of circuits in one respect, but on this high plateau, always if we've got good weather and nice sunshine, it's a very, very warm occasion, and that's the case this morning. Well, you've joined us just before we go into our driver presentation parade. There you see the guys, just see Karol Dabski having a look this way, and I think that was Rasmus Lind in the Praga team. It was Karol Dabski in the Praga team that we saw. And as the drivers are presented, let me tell you who you're going to be watching if you join us this afternoon for our racing, and we sincerely hope that you do. We've got 114 drivers from 31 countries on 5 continents. And going through them in alphabetical order, we have Simon Reicher of Austria. From the Middle East, the Kingdom of Bahrain, Nick Cristofaro. From Belgium in Western Europe, Ulysse Depot, Benjamin Lessen, Maxime Potti and Kenny Rosens, 4 Belgian drivers. From South America, 2 drivers from Brazil, Felipe Drugovich Roncato, Sergio Sete Camara. From North America, 1 driver from Canada, Cami Marrero Laliberte. And there you see the girls from the Crazy Sisters Racing team. They're the only sisters racing. That was Victoria and Yulia Pankiewicz you saw briefly passing through screen. So from Canada, Cami Marrero Laliberte, and then from the Far East, from the People's Republic of China. We've had a delegation from China here, from their ASN, the sports governing body. We shall be watching racing Yifan Xia, Yifei Ye, and Sun Yu Yang. From the Czech Republic in Central Europe, David Klar. From Denmark in Scandinavia, Nikolai Kjærgaard, Christian Lundgaard, his brother Daniel Lundgaard, Nicholas Nielsen, very impressive so far this weekend, Kasper Rose Andersen and Kevin Rossell, 6 drivers from Denmark. And then from Finland we have 11 drivers, the second highest representation, or joint second highest representation. Tuomas Hapalainen, Johannes Heinen, Niko Kari, Konsta Lapalainen, Aatu Moilanen, Patrick Pasma, Juuso Pohaka, Robin Sario, Valtteri Semi, Paavo Tonteri and Tuomas Tohula, 11 drivers from Finland. We have 9 drivers from France. Giuliani Alesi, son of course of Jean Alesi, Gabriel Aubry, Paolo Besançonnet, Alessandro Brozzoni, sounds an Italian name but he is French, Julien Darra, Alexandre Gadois, Nicolas Gonzalez, Tom Lurier and Charles Milesi. From Germany we have 5 drivers. David Beckmann, one of our lady drivers, is from Germany. She's Sophia Flörsch. Moritz Horn, Hannes Janker and Mick Jr. From Great Britain we have 13 drivers. The highest representation from any nation is from Great Britain. Enem Ahmed, Jehan Daravula, originally from India but now racing on a British licence. Max Futrell, similarly to Johan, he was originally from Singapore, now racing on the licence of the United Kingdom. Oliver Hodgson just had the second chance heat, which he's qualified for. Good news for him. Callum Eilert, the world champion Tom Joyner. From Scotland, Ross Martin. Lando Norris and Oliver Norris, the only pair of brothers in the British team. One of the ladies racing is in the British team, that's Hannah Pym. We also have Joshua Francis Smith, Daniel Tictum and Archie Tillett. From Greece, Konstantinos. From India, Kushmaini from India. From Indonesia, Presley Martono. And then from Italy, we have 11 drivers, the joint top representation, Lorenzo Colombo, Stefano Cuccio, Cosimo Francesco Durante, Kevin Lavelli, Federico Lenzi, Alessio Lorandi, his brother Leonardo Lorandi, Marco Mastranzi, Leonardo Pulcini, Felice Tieni, and Lorenzo Travisanuto. And as you can see, they're being introduced. You saw on caption there, we have Don Antonio Boleo, the mayor of Zuera. Have Don Anchel Echegoyen, he's the vice president of the Royal Federation of the Spanish Automovilismo, the Spanish automobile club, if you will. And Don Luis Carlos Morel, he's the chief executive officer of the international circuit here at Zuera. Also representing the CIK, you see Mr. Randolph Barth from Netherlands, he's the CIK FIA coordinator. Well, from further into the east to Asia, the far east, we have Japan represented by Takuya Okada. We have Lithuania represented by Rokas Baciuska. From Poland, 6 drivers: Karol Bash, Karol Dabski, Michal Gryj, Jan Grenšić, and the 2 Crazy Sisters racing team of Julia Pankiewicz and Victoria Pankiewicz. From Portugal, just 1 driver, Johan Azedo Sousa. From Romania, we have 1 driver, Dion Marcu. From Russia, we have 8 drivers, Alexei Korneev, Nikita Mazepin, Artem Petrov, Jan Leon Shlom, Egor Stupenkov, Nikita Troitsky, Alexander Vartanian, and Gleb Zotov. From Singapore, 2 drivers, Julian Fongweiji and James Pull. From the continent of Africa, 1 driver from South Africa, Julian van der Watt. From Sweden, 6 drivers, Anton Hager, gone extremely well in KF Juniors, Philip Hall, Rasmus Lind, Linus Lundqvist, Emil Skara, and Lena von Skedvin. You may possibly pick up the strains of the national anthem of Spain being played as I speak over this. From Switzerland, 2 drivers, Lucas Legere and Clément Novalak. From Thailand, Sasakorn Chaimonkhol. From the Netherlands, 3 drivers, Martijn van Leeuwen, Bart Verkroost, and Bent Vishkal. From the United States of America, and making a very big mark on this particular event, Juan Correa, originally from Ecuador, Devlin De Francesco, the championship leader in KF Junior. He's from Florida, United States, originally from Canada. And another driver from Florida, Logan Sargent. From South America, Venezuela, we have Sebastian Fernandez Wabe and Sidney Gomez. And the host nation, Spain, who will bring up the rear of this parade. We always have the host nation coming in last, and we play their national anthem. Another of the lady drivers, Marta Garcia Lopez, driven very well this weekend, had a 2nd place in one of the heats. Pedro Hiltbrand, Xavier Lloveras Brunet, Eliseo Martinez Morono, and Miguel Noval Coeto. Well, you can see the open nature of this circuit here at Zuera. It is a very, very wide open plateau, hence we often get the breeze here, which on the hot days is always very welcome. You're looking also beyond the home straight where the drivers are paraded to the paddock. The first of those big awnings you see is the baby race awning. Baby race in the light blue and white, and there the officials who we mentioned previously. To the left in the white shirt is Mr. Randolph Barth. To the right with the glasses, I think that is the mayor. That's Mr. Don Antonio Bolea, and he's also there with Angel Echegoyen, the vice president of the Royal Spanish Automobile Association, and Luis Carlos Morel, the circuit chief executive officer. Well, all of these drivers, that's 114 of the drivers, of which 6 of them were ladies. They've been presented with some commemorative medals. There you see the Union flag well to the fore there, don't you? The grid girls who carry all of the flags for all of the nations. Sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle to find all of the flags for all of the nations, especially when we have some of the minor nations in sporting terms. Used to have a difficulty finding the Monaco flag, I remember, when Charles Leclerc was in this series. Well, the driver's presentation is always a colourful occasion. It's also a little bit of a nervous occasion because most of these drivers are going to go straight back to the paddock and prepare for the pre-final. Our next two races are the two pre-finals in KF and KF Junior, and have to say that a lot of the guys that have not made the last chance race looking a little bit dejected there. I'm not going to mention any names of those who've not made it. The Tony Kart Racing suits very evident there as the Chinese delegation go through. I mustn't say delegation, Chinese team. The little blue guy in blue with the red hair there, Rasmus Lind. And most of the drivers looking inward, feeling a little bit more relaxed now. Well, I can tell you that in the qualifying races yesterday, Felice Tieni of Italy was the strongest driver. He won 3 of the 4 heats and was beaten into 4th place in his final heat, although that was losing a couple of places late on. It's not stopped him qualifying for pole position. The Forza Racing team there, you see Hannah Pym on the left, and then the two Pankiewicz sisters, Julia and Victoria. These are our colourful grid girls from the region of Zaragoza. I've been to this circuit previously, but I've never been to downtown Zaragoza previously. A beautiful, beautiful city. The Basilica is a wonderful, wonderful feature. Now, I told you we're on a high plateau. Those pictures show you just exactly what I mean. A high plateau, very, very flat. There's no undulation in this circuit to mention. It rises and falls by only something like half a dozen meters. So basically a very flat track. And the other feature about it, it's the longest track that we race CIK championships on, and it's the longest by a big margin, 1,700 meters long, a mile in length. Most of our racing is done on tracks of the order of 1,400 meters, 1,450 meters perhaps, but at 1,700 meters, typical of this country, we do have the longest of the tracks that we race on in Spain, because as well as here at Zuera, Motorland Aragon at Alcaniz has also hosted CIK FIA Championship racing. I think it was the Academy Trophy specifically in the Under-18 Championship. And down in the south, Campillos, just north of Antequera, about an hour's drive from the south coast, also a similar length, just approaching 1,700 meters. Well, as you see from the caption on the bottom of your screen, it's the KF Junior pre-final that will be coming up first of our races, and as soon as we have the grid to call over to you, we shall certainly do so. But I can tell you in advance that Anton Hager of Sweden will start on pole position throughout the qualifying heats. He went through them unbeaten. 4 starts, 4 victories. It qualified second fastest, but now goes to pole position throughout the heats by virtue of those excellent performances in the qualifying heats. In pole position for the heats was Devlin De Francesco. He won a couple of his heats, but lost one by just 1 place to Anton Hager, then got himself in a little difficulty late on in his 4th heat and final heat, but he scored a total of 6 points, which has comfortably put him onto the top row, the front row, for the pre-final. And it is in fact Devlin De Francesco who leads this championship. Devlin De Francesco, who won in La Conca in round 1, and by virtue of having scored the points that he has in the qualifying in the qualifying heats, he's overtaken Enem Ahmed, who won the first round in La Conca. Well, row 2 will see Logan Sargent and David Beckman, so that means the second and third drivers are from the United States of America, and that's a real indication of how much the United States have improved in terms of their international caliber. They've always had good drivers, there's no question of that. They've had good drivers in the United States, very difficult to beat, but the guys that have come and spent time in Europe are the guys who've managed to get a little bit further on into their careers, and typical of those is Devlin De Francesco and Logan Sargent, doing particularly well in the heats yesterday. Logan Sargent in 3rd place, only had 1 race victory, but he was never out of the top 4, so that's why he's got himself so high up. Well, as soon as we do have the full grid, we'll put it on screen for you. But for the time being, when I'm telling you that it's a nice sunny day but a little breezy, there's the evidence of that breeze. The flags on the edge of the circuit, and at the top of your screen, if you have a look, as you saw there just briefly, the wind turbines, they've not been going round as quickly as they might have done, but, well, those flags there suggesting that it's a little breezy, and when I walked onto the circuit this morning, it certainly was warm but breezy. Well, let me tell you the championship standings. Coming into this event, the KF Junior, NM Ahmed led with 31 points, but NM Ahmed of Great Britain has not scored any points in the heats. Devlin De Francesco picked up 9 out of 10, and as a result of that, he's got 35 points, and so he leads the championship standings presently. 35 points for Devlin De Francesco. Second place is the winner at round 1 at La Conca, NM Ahmed, with 31 points. And in third place, Logan Sargent of the United States, 28 points. So a British driver splitting the two Americans who are 1 and 3. Mick Jr. and Alexander Vartanyan, Mick Jr. a German driver and Alexander Vartanyan a Russian driver, they're joint fourth in the championship standings with 21 points. They didn't go quite so well in the yesterday's heats. David Beckman spoiled his chances a little bit with one disappointing drive, otherwise might have been a little bit higher, and Mick Jr. managed one victory but also had one low finish in his second round, so no real harm done as such, but they'll be starting their racing on rows 2 and 4 respectively. Well, a big thank you to all of you that have tuned in to see our driver presentation. The pre-final will start in about 35 minutes, just under 35 minutes, the local time noon, high noon, and we hope that you will be watching us racing. As I say, Anton Hager and Devlin De Francesco starting this one on the front row, Logan Sargent and David Beckman on row 2, Benjamin Lesen and Artem Petrov on row 3, Alexander Vartanyan and Mick Jr. on row 4, Daniel Ticktum and Ulis de Power on row 5, completing the top 10. Join us at 12 o'clock for our racing. Yeah, yeah, always do.